Hi, my name is Karolina Sieler, and I am a former law lecturer here in London, as well as the founder of a platform called firstguesslb.com, which helps law students to get a first in both their essays and their exams. Today I want to talk to you about how to find case law. This is something that many students honestly panic about whenever they start writing their courseworks or revising for their exams. And it's usually because they believe that for some reason that they should just ignore anything that their lecturer mentioned during the lectures and ignore whatever the textbooks say and whatever the journal articles say, and that they should just go straight to Westlaw or LexisNexis and in panic mode type in anything that kind of resembles the topic, any keywords that they remembered from the topic, and try to find cases in there. This is the most difficult route that you can take in order to find cases for your coursework. And honestly, at this stage, at the level of an undergraduate degree, you shouldn't be doing this in most cases. There are very few situations where you will have to go and find the cases, identify new cases. Usually, for example, when there is a statute that is very new and not many textbooks have written about it, and there haven't been many cases about it in general. So then you would have to go and try to type in the name of the statute and find out whether there are any cases that deal with the specific section you want to discuss. But in most cases, the formula for finding case law for your courseworks is so simple, and it involves 4 different steps. The first one is inspecting your lecture slides. The second one is looking through your textbook. The third one is looking through any journal articles. And the fourth one is, if need be, finding the case reports of specific cases on Westlaw or LexisNexis. Let's start with the second one. So whenever you're working on a specific coursework, you should start identifying what cases you should be discussing by looking at your lecture slides. Any cases that are mentioned in relation to a particular topic should be mentioned in your lecture slides, should be included in your coursework. Now, usually when you're writing a coursework of about 2,500 words, you will be, depending on the topic, depending on the area of law, you will be including between 10 to 20 cases. So the likelihood that you will have, let's say, 20 cases mentioned on a specific topic in your lecture slides is very, very low. Usually lecturers structure the lectures and the courseworks in a way that the lecturer will provide you with some basic information about the topic, and then you need to find a few more cases yourself. So once you grab those basic, most crucial cases from your lecture slides about the specific topic of your coursework, you should then go through the textbook, and by this I mean just identify the relevant chapters in the textbook or in 2 or 3 different textbooks, and skim read through it. So I don't want you to read through the entire chapter from the beginning to the end at first. I just want you to skim read through it and just try to figure out whether you can find information about the cases that were mentioned in your lecture slides and what other cases are mentioned near those cases. So, for example, as another example of a specific rule or as a contradictory rule to the rules mentioned in that specific case. Those things are the things that will help you to identify a few more cases. Now, in terms of how else you can look for cases, because there are certain situations where the area of law that you're asked to discuss is so narrow and so difficult to talk about and to analyze that you might not even be able to identify enough cases by looking at the textbook. What you should do then is look at the footnotes in the textbook in the specific chapter that is on the topic of your coursework, and try to find out whether there are any journal articles there that you can find on this specific topic. Then you go to Westlaw or LexisNexis, grab a copy of those articles, and try to skim read through them. So again, I don't want you to read through all the journal articles from the beginning to the end. I just want you to skim read through them, so very quickly read through them, and identify whether there are any additional cases apart from the ones that you discussed and that you found in your lecture slides and in your textbook that you could talk about. Now, skim reading through journal articles is a pretty easy thing to do when you know the system to follow, because most students just really struggle. They look at a single journal article and they just think, oh, it's this massive block of text. How am I ever going to get through this, let alone skim read it? I have actually included a video about how to read any journal articles in under 5 minutes in my first class law essay writing course. So if this is something that you want to find out, I will provide a link to it down below. Once you have found your additional cases in the journal articles, sometimes you will still have to go ahead and find the actual case reports in Westlaw or LexisNexis, either for the purpose of just finding out more about those cases and learning more of, for example, what was the point of law established in the case, so the rule established in the case, or what was a specific, what were the circumstances, so the facts of the case and the decision in it. But sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, also you might just have to be able to go on Westlaw and LexisNexis and identify some new cases that you haven't mentioned, you haven't found in either your lecture slides or your textbook or the journal articles. And like I've said earlier, this usually relates to very, very recent statutes or very, very recent issues. So for example, there could be a case that was decided last year or 2 years ago, and it's not really discussed in any of the recent textbooks, and you have to find some recent law. It might also be the case that there is a case that was discussed in your lecture slides or the journal article or the textbook, which is a recent case, like from a year or 2 years before, and you're set an assignment about it. So you're asked to discuss the specific case in your assignment or the impact of that case, and you know that you have to look for subsequent cases, so the cases that were decided after that specific decision was issued by the court. And it might be too early for the textbooks to have caught up and have included those decisions, but still it's something that you can find on Westlaw or LexisNexis. Again, if you don't really know how to use Westlaw or LexisNexis, or if you have tried it several times and you just really, really struggle with it and you don't know how to use it at all, I have included very detailed guidance on how to use both Westlaw and LexisNexis in the first class law essay writing course, including some screenshots and videos of exactly how I do it when I look for a new case in a very, very easy way, without kind of following all the formal standards and the proper ways of looking for cases, and just to save you a bit of time. So that's it from me for today. If you have enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so that I can create more videos like this for you.